Ladies and gentlemen, federal employees, if you're thinking about potentially moving your contributions so that they're now going into the Roth TSP instead of the traditional, you're going to want to watch this video. There's 3 things you want to make sure you understand when making the switch that some people don't understand, and then some people do end up regretting going to the Roth. So you want to make sure you understand this before you make the change. Now, if you're new here, so good to have you. My name is Dallin Haas. I'm a financial planner who helps federal employees retire confident every day, and I absolutely love it. So let's talk about switching to using the Roth TSP. The Roth TSP is relatively new, where people that have been with the government for a long time, the vast majority of their money is in the traditional side, and they wake up one day and like, wow, I didn't even know the Roth was available. I heard all these great things about it. I want to switch over. What should I know? Well, let's go through the things that you should know before you switch to contributing into the Roth. The first thing you want to know on a very practical level, if you right now are putting, let's say, 10% of your salary into the traditional TSP, and then you switch, so instead of any into the traditional, you now, all that entire 10% is now going into the Roth. You just switch dollar for dollar, traditional to Roth. Your net pay is going to go down. Your net pay is going to go down if you make that switch. Even if, let's say, 10% of your salary is $10,000 a year, even if you put the same amount of money into the traditional versus Roth, if you start doing Roth instead, again, your net pay is going to go down because you get less tax deductions in the Roth right now, right? Again, using the Roth TSP means you are okay not getting no tax deduction right now, but getting tax deductions later. So let me talk you through that. With a Roth TSP, when you put the money into the TSP, you get absolutely no tax benefit. Zero, okay? However, when the money, it grows, and it comes out later, all that money you put in plus all the growth can come out tax-free, okay? It can come out tax-free. The traditional TSP is exactly the opposite. Where right now, if you're putting into the traditional TSP, let's say, again, your salary is $100K. If you're putting $10,000 into the traditional TSP, you're actually getting the tax deduction of $10,000. You're getting taxed as if you only made $90,000. Okay? If you switch, so now instead of getting that tax deduction of the traditional TSP, you now switch to the Roth. Again, you're taxed as if you now make $100K. Okay? So you have to keep that in mind, that if you make the switch, your net pay is going to go down because of the extra taxes you're going to have to pay. So keep that in mind. At least it should go down. If it doesn't, that means you're probably not withholding enough, or you're withholding too much before, right? Long story short, expect your net pay to go down if you switch all you're contributing right now into the traditional into the Roth, because you got to fund those extra taxes in tax withholdings. Okay. Now you can save a little less into the Roth TSP if you want your net pay to be about the same. But again, keep that in mind. Okay. That freaks a lot of people out when their net pay goes down, even though they're saving the same amount. It just happens to be in the Roth TSP because again, they've got to pay the extra in taxes. Next, understand the perks. There's a number of huge perks. We talked about the downside is right now you get no tax benefit. That's the downside. But the huge perks and the reasons people still use the Roth TSP is because all that money that goes in there comes out tax-free later. For example, we have absolutely no clue where tax brackets are going to go. We don't know how tax rates are going to change over time, but if I'm a betting man, over time, I assume they're not going down. I assume they're at least staying the same, probably going up over time. And so if you pay the taxes now, it can be very, very helpful in the future. Now, that advice doesn't apply to everyone. There's some people where they really are going to want the tax deduction now because their income is a lot higher than it will be in the future, and I get that too. But for a lot of people, it's going to be really, really nice to have some tax-free money later. They don't have to worry about taxes when they take the money out. It's a great freeing place to be because you don't have to worry about the taxes later. Regardless of what tax rates do, you're going to be okay, if you have a lot of Roth money in retirement. There's a number of other perks as well. For example, RMDs. If you've never heard of RMDs before, long story short, once you get into your 70s, the government requires you to take money out of traditional retirement accounts like traditional TSP, traditional IRA. They require you to take a certain amount every single year, regardless whether you want the withdrawal or not. They want that money to come out so you pay the taxes on it. However, Roth accounts like a Roth IRA or Roth TSP are not subject to RMD, so you can keep that money growing and compounding tax-free for as long as you like. Okay, that's another benefit. Also, if you happen to pass away and your heirs are left with a Roth account, they don't have any tax implications either. They can take that money out tax-free just like you were able to. But again, if you pass them a pre-tax account, if you pass them a traditional TSP or traditional IRA, then they have to worry about the taxes. Whatever tax bracket and things they're in, that's when they pay the taxes on that. Okay, so again, the TSP, the big downside is if you want to contribute the same amount to the Roth as you were into the traditional, it's going to cost you now. You don't get the tax deduction now. Your net pay may go down depending on how much you're doing, as well as the perks, though. The perks, it's tax-free later. It can all come out tax-free. You don't have any RMDs to worry about, and your heirs have it all tax-free as well. So those are some of the things to consider if you're thinking about moving over from traditional over to Roth. There's a lot of perks. It doesn't make sense for everyone all the time, but again, there's a lot of perks that a lot of people can take advantage of. So I hope that's helpful. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you guys next time.